Peace. So, it's been a while since I spoke to y'all, but just wanted to build a little bit about uh, creating more peace in our lives. The fundamental aspect of doing that, especially right now, is simplifying things. So, for a long time we've been living in the pursuit of a lot of external validation, seeking to acquire things that make us feel better about ourselves, make us feel more accomplished. Um, and it's like an endless pursuit. I mean, if you think about it, during this time of, you know, quarantines and social distancing and no clubs being open, very little social gathering places, a lot of people are still steady shopping. Um, a lot of people are still, in many ways, exhibiting the same habits of self-satisfaction that they did before without the actual outlets for these things, so it shows in many ways how stuck many of us are, you know what I mean. um, where our attention is in a future, a possible future. Our attention is in what once existed in the past. Many of us are not focusing on what's happening right now, and the now, being in the moment, being mindful of what's occurring, um, specifically at this time, is very important, because we're at a time when there's a lot of shifting happening. There's a time where we're looking at a lot of change and transformation. In order to best honor and honor that, and utilize the possibility when there's empty spaces, honor how we're going to fill them, is being mindful of exactly like what the circumstances and what's going on. Being present to how we're feeling in the moment, being present to our present current needs, and focusing on the voids that are opening, the things that are going away, and how we're going to replace these things, or how we're going to position ourselves so that we're in a better place moving forward, without as much dependence on these things. Because the average person isn't fulfilled, the average person isn't happy. We agree to live certain kind of ways, yet most people are stressed. Most people are constantly looking for ways to alleviate, the stress and frustration they build up in their day-to-day life. And a lot of those things have changed. So now it's time for us to also adjust, like how we're addressing life and how we're living life. You know what I mean? Because we can definitely redefine that and create, the possibility of new ways of being that will better fulfill our spirit. So what are we doing with this still time? What are we doing with this solitude? What are we doing with this distance in our life? How can we adjust, the way we do things so that, we are happier? If we looking back to, like, are there hobbies that we've abandoned? Are there passions that we haven't fulfilled because we had to focus our energy on other aspects of life? But now that those things are shifting for a lot of people, what are we doing with the new time that we have? What are we doing with the new space that we have? We can re-embrace things that we let go of. If we really think about it, we can take time to create new things in our lives, to express ourselves differently, to educate ourselves, to learn about new things, to do stuff we haven't, spent time doing before. Many of us we're used to traveling a lot, but there's so much. This land that we live in is huge. It's vast. Just New York State alone, where I live, is vast, and how many people have really explored the Catskills, or Long Island, just ventured upstate to see what it holds for us. Going hiking, going kayaking, go camping. It's time to just do different things, gather differently, enjoy the possibility, see the abundance that's around us, understanding what's here, instead of seeking and always looking for something else with a mentality that there's always something lacking. You know what I mean? We don't always need more. That level of consumption, it keeps us trapped. It almost enslaves us in a lot of ways. There's a lot of people, who are living check to check in ways, because actually they acquire so many things they don't need. There's so much excess in a way to race and satiate the ego and satiate and find external validation, that we expend a lot of our resources and our time to just play this game and this race. So now we have time to simplify, look at utilize the things that we have, minimize our purchasing and our spending, just appreciating like the simpler ways of being, and I promise, life can become more fulfilling if we can look at things these ways. In my travels, the people who I've met in my life who were the happiest, who seemed the most fulfilled, had less. They weren't trying to always have the newest sneakers or the newest car or the most fashionable bag or whatever that is. It was more about expressing their personality, and learning to love like what it is that they individually bring to their community and their environment, and being celebrated for those things. For whatever it is, a sense of humor, the ability to tell stories, the ability to hold space for people, the ability to create or make things. These are the things that originally, as humans, as natural beings, that we really truly find value in, because they're real, and they're useful. So, in many ways, like let's re-engage with self, and rediscover like what about ourselves is truly useful. What about ourselves can serve a true purpose for ourselves, and basically deal with real things about life. Not necessarily these aspects of perspective that are based on the falsehoods and the illusions, but real substantial things, real relationships, real conversations, real experiences. It's time for that. This is what we're being called to do. This is my belief. This is what all this stillness is about. You know what I mean? It's truly a reset happening in humanity, and I'm hoping that we take advantage of that, because it's a great opportunity to experience something different. Because I know, there's very few people who can honestly say they've been satisfied with their lives completely in the way that we've been living, in the way things exist. And a lot of that has to do with, these false senses of what's important, so let's shift that, and I hope in some ways that this can positively influence some people to step powerfully into new ways of being. Peace.